lost around 50% of its market cap from the start of this year. If you invested in the stock on the 1st of Jan or thereabout, it would be around 1600 rupees, and you can see where the stock stands. To talk more about what took place in the Q3 earnings as well as all of the regulatory issues, we have with us Mr. Khorakiwala, founder, chairman and group CEO of the company, joining in. Hi sir, thank you very much for taking the time out, and good to see you in post your Q3 numbers. Wanted to start with everything X of the regulatory issues. Let's start talking about your revenue. That was down around 22% in Q3. For 9 months, it's up only around 2 to 3 odd percent. What's taking place in all of your markets? For example, India slowed down. We had emerging markets which are up 13 odd percent for Q3. Can you tell us what's taking place in all of your key markets right now and your guidance on the same?
See, as far as our revenue is concerned over the last 9 months, last year we had an exceptional item, which was a one-off item, and that has significantly reduced in the first 9 month results, and it is not there in the last quarter results. So if you remove this exceptional item for the last quarter, we have from the existing business a growth of roughly 10%. So from that context, I think as a company, overall, we are doing quite all right. And I think we believe that the existing level of sales and profitability which has come in the recent quarter should be considered as an indicator for things to come. Across the India emerging market, UK market, overall I think we will continue to grow at mid-double-digit level even in next 6 to 12 months. Okay.
Sir, how is the company placed on sales in FY17? You'll close this year, I'm assuming, with another 1100 crores or 1200 crores in Q4, so 4500 to 4600 crores in terms of total FY16 revenues. For FY17, how are you placed in terms of total percentage growth, and what would the US contribution be?
See, there are two things. First, we generally don't give our future guidance. But as I mentioned, FY17 we will continue to grow even if the existing situation is unchanged vis-a-vis US at something like double-digit plus growth. So that is definitely there. And as and when the US issue gets resolved, that would be an additional sales and revenue coming to us.
Mr. Khorakiwala, good morning. You know, before I discuss some more fundamental issues, I want to discuss one basic aspect. I'm sure you would have looked at what's happened to your stock price over the last 2 or 3 months. Do you have a reason to believe that there's a bear cartel operating in Wockhardt? Is this something that you've discussed internally or have discussed with SEBI? Because that's something that I first want to know from you.
See, I cannot comment on the stock market and how people respond and what is happening. But we were also surprised with the level of our stock price reduction. And there is nothing changed, nothing changed really in last 2, 3, 4 months as far as the company is concerned. So I can't comment more than that why our stock price is where it is.
Fair point. Point taken, Mr. Khorakiwala. So now let's move on. The big trigger that the market is waiting for is on the US FDA front. In terms of your meetings with US FDA, if you could tell the market what is the progress on that front, and what kind of contribution would US make going forward in terms of your revenues?
I think as far as the US FDA is concerned, 3 of our facilities, mainly our L1 and Waluj facility, I think internally we believe that we are more or less in compliant position. In fact, L1 facility has been approved by MHRA, and I think FDA requires some more information because over the last 2, 3 years we have supplied them large number of information. So probably what they are looking for is to summarize all we have taken into a single document. And probably we may have request another meeting with them and to resolve the issue and clear the understanding they have of our compliant position. because they have all the information as far as GMP compliance is concerned. And in fact, as far as our Waluj facility is concerned, we had a voluntary action report given to us. So we do hope that soon enough we should be able to resolve this issue, but I cannot give you a definite timeline for that because it's not in our hand.
Okay. Mr. Khorakiwala, then let's talk about the regulatory issues a little more. We do understand that you had a meeting in the past 2 to 3 weeks with the US FDA, and correct me if I'm wrong, what might it have resulted in? What did it consist of in terms of your interaction with the US FDA? Was it maybe a resolution for all 3 plants that you might be looking at cumulatively?
See, what I have just communicated to you is based on our understanding of what has happened so far in our discussion and communication with US FDA.
Okay.
I have nothing more to add to that.
Fair enough, sir. But for your Waluj plant, like you mentioned, you've received an establishment inspection report from the US FDA, but we don't have the import alert which is lifted as yet. Am I correct in assuming that? And if so, why is that?
Yeah, that is correct. That is correct.
So you're not supplying to the US from Waluj. When do you expect that import alert to be possibly lifted?
No, we are supplying one product from Waluj throughout the period to the US, that is in April. We have been supplying over right from the beginning. So that is one product US FDA has allowed because obviously we have a large market share and non-availability would have caused the shortages in the US.
Okay. Coming to Shendra, sir, have you replied back to the US FDA with regards to those 9 observations?
I think, yeah, I believe we would have replied by now.
Okay. So, just wanted to revisit those 9 observations because we managed to get the copy of the Form 483 as well, and there are some brokerage reports which have cited it, saying that there were some concerns which the Form 483 rose, and there were some similarities to even Waluj and Chikalthana in terms of the issues that had risen. Have you revisited the observations that were brought up for Shendra post our last conversation, and do you now feel that maybe the timeline of the resolution of those observations might be greater than what you thought earlier?
No, we don't believe so. The observation was based on our new IT system which we had placed, and in 1 or 2 equipment there were issues not in terms of data integrity, but it was an issue of the accessibility issue, and that has been resolved immediately actually.
Okay, let's get back to the business outlook then, Mr. Khorakiwala, and from UK in particular, where you've had some one-offs in the last 2 or 3 quarters. What kind of revenue contribution can we expect from UK, and what kind of EBITDA contribution?
See, our UK normal business will grow at double-digit plus. And we should be expecting something of the order of about £120 million business, which is our norm, with a growth which we will expect annually. So that would be our business. And we have a healthy EBITDA, like overall corporate EBITDA of 30% or so.
Okay. Sir, coming to your R&D expenditure, that's around 14% of your current sales. And if I'm not mistaken, around $370 to $400 million just in the past couple of years. What is your pipeline for research and development right now, and which markets are you catering to? When do we see it fructify?
See, there are 3 areas we spend on research. One is our pharmaceutical areas, where we are dealing with high technology and big ticket items. The second area we are doing in our biologicals, that is insulins product. We believe that we have a very significant market coming out of this from an emerging market in short term to medium term. And the pharma also, we are taking our entire portfolio to emerging markets, so we expect that business to come also in next 12 to 18 months. Additionally, we are also working on our drug discovery program on antibiotics. And as we informed to you, we have received 5 QIDP status for our various antibiotics by US FDA. And these are really a breakthrough drug. Globally, we are the only company receiving 5 breakthrough drug status from US FDA.
Yeah.
And we believe in next 3 years or so, 3.5 years, we should be filing for some of these products to USA and maybe afterwards to Europe.
Okay. Mr. Khorakiwala, as an industry veteran, I want your comment on the US FDA action on Indian pharma for last 12 months or so. It's been unusually tougher, compared to the historical evidence that we have. Any comment that you have to offer? Because there's this one quarter which believes that there's this targeting of Indian pharma going on right now by US FDA. That could be wrong, but your comments on that.
See, it would not be fair for me to comment on US FDA approach on Indian companies, because I think they are really concerned, because we supply about 20 to 30% of medicine in US and from a long distance, so they want to be doubly sure. But what is happening to our industry as a whole in the process is we are raising our standard to a very high level, and we are getting into a large part of automation of quality system, a complete recording system of manufacturing and other things, and that will put Indian companies in a much stronger position in days to come.
Okay. All right, Mr. Khorakiwala, just a quick last question then. If you could throw some light in terms of what the US business might look like for you in FY17. Right now, which would be the facilities you assume would start contributing, or even X of the facilities at the current status quo that you have in your business, what might the US business look like, and are you undertaking any site transfers?
Yeah, let me put it to you this way. If even in the current status, we have number of products which we are getting manufactured from the third party, and that will contribute to our US business overall. And we expect, compared to current year, we will at least have 20% growth in the US business.
And what about site transfers? How many can we expect, and have you...
No, including all that, this would be roughly the numbers which will be there.
Okay, all right.
I don't have a specific details of how many products and which site transfer. There are some new products also which we are doing through third party that will also come into play.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Khorakiwala, thanks a lot for your time today. Really appreciate the fact that you could take time out and talk to us. So that's Wockhardt clearly saying that yes, there are some issues, but they are sorting them, and the US pipeline or the US revenue is something that the market will be watching out for in FY17.
Especially the fact that they are managing third-party sales, they are managing these site transfers to take place.